Welcome to eBuilder University's on-demand video training. If you'd like to learn more about additional training opportunities, please contact your account manager. Now let's jump into opening and awarding bid packages.
Good day, everyone. This is Martin Astazarian, certified eBuilder trainer, and today we're going to be continuing the bidding module training series. In this video, we're going to review two major items. The first is how to open a bid package once all the bidders have submitted their bids. We're going to explore the tabulation of the bids. The second part of this video will be about awarding the bid and what that looks like for the bidders and what that looks like for the person that's actually managing the bid or the bid manager. So with that, let's begin. The first part that I want to show you is how to open up a bid. And there's a couple of things that we need to talk about as far as settings are concerned and options, because the opening of a bid is typically a very sensitive process for some of the organizations that we work with, specifically government agencies, where specific people have to be present when opening up bid packages. So with that, let's first begin. So when we click on the bid tabulation tab here from the eBuilder perspective, the first thing it's going to ask us is to confirm if we do want to open up a bid. Now, the way eBuilder can be configured is that a bid can physically only be opened once the bid due date has passed. In other words, if someone makes an attempt to open up the bid package prior, the system will not allow the bid package to be opened. By default, the bid manager is initially the first person that will be allowed to open up a bid. However, they will also be constrained by that time when the bid due date has been established. So the system will protect bids from being opened too soon. So once I confirm that, yes, I want to open up the bid as the bid manager, it's going to now ask me for my credentials. Now, this is a very important page because what it also offers us is the ability to have a witness. So in essence, someone else would have to be present in order to perform this opening of the bid. Now, I purposely did it this way so you can see exactly what this means, meaning that a person would physically have to be in the room with me as the bid manager in order to open up this bid. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the bid as an individual person momentarily, but I did want to show you the fact that you can configure between 1 to 2 other people to be present in order for you to open up the bid. What I'm going to show you now, based on what I just said, is I'm going to open up a bid as an individual person. So I readjusted the system so that we can open up the bid with just me as the bid manager, as I originally set it up. However, in the previous screen, as you saw, we were able to bring in a witness to be part of this opening. I just wanted to show you that option. When I bring this page up, it's going to ask me for my credentials, which is going to be my username and password, my eBuilder username and password. That's the only way it'll work. And then it will allow me to open up the bid by clicking Open Bids here on the bottom left. Now, when I open up the bid, we're going to scroll down and we're going to look at the table down here because this is really where all the action happens. Now, what you're finding here is what we saw in the bid scope. When we created the bid in the couple of first videos that we did, we created the line items that were associated to this bid. And you're seeing this presented here on the screen again. Now, the great part about this is that this is going to display every detail that we surmised internally within the organization when we created the bid package, and it's also going to combine it with bidder information. So let's kind of study the landscape here a little bit so that we can get an idea of how this is expressing the numbers. So in this section right here, it's the basic bid scope. It's what we estimated the bid to be, the quantities, the units of measure that we used, all the details that we put into the bid scope. The second section here is our estimate. Once again, let me make it very clear. No bidder would be able to see this estimate. This estimate was a benchmark that we established as the organization so that when we did get our bids, we can see how far or how close we were to the real numbers that came in, right? It's basically setting up a standard as to what we're looking for. To the right, we're going to see the information that the bidder provided. Now, in this case, only one bidder in my training video provided a bid. But what I want you to imagine is that this is one of many columns that will be kind of next to each other one by one, and everything will be tabulated next to each other. So what you have in front of you is the ability for you to compare and look at and analyze the numbers, literally go item by item to see who has the more competitive price. Okay, now in the bidding world, obviously, if you've been in capital construction long enough, the lowest isn't always the best, but it's always the most attractive. Now, when you're going about looking at a bid that way and looking for the lowest number, you'll be able, through the unit cost approach, you'll be able to understand a little bit clearer why that number is so low, and you can take a more educated decision, right? If someone's a little too low on something, you'll see it right off the bat, and you'll be able to compare it to another person who's kind of in the same neighborhood, but maybe giving a more realistic price. Okay, so again, for those of you that have seen many bids, you'll understand what I'm talking about. Now, if I scroll down a little bit more, we'll be able to see some basic information. We see the base bid total with the solar panels. This is all the stuff that we set up in the bid scope. And again, this specific bidder gave two different prices for both. They gave us the option of the solar panels, and they also gave us the base bid. Now, if I scroll up, what we're going to have in these little check boxes here, and I'm not going to read all of them one by one. I'm going to let you guys explore this when you guys actually use the system. But ultimately, what all these are is called options. In my opinion, they're called filters. Anytime that you check a box here, what you're doing is you're adding a little bit more functionality to the table below. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click on every single one of these boxes for the exception of the first one, which is show the shortlisted bidders only, because there's only one bidder. There's really nothing to shortlist. And what I'm going to do by clicking all of these and hitting rerun over here on the upper right, I'm going to basically engage all these different filters that you see here. Now look at the table now. It has changed drastically. It's changed quite a bit, but it's showing us a little bit more information. The first thing that you're going to probably notice is the color, right? The green color. Now that green color works with one of the filters that we did, and as you can see, it actually gives you a little legend here that tells you that the lowest value is in green. So imagine you're looking at 10 bidders, right, side by side. This is a great tool because it allows you to see who was the highest, who was a shortlisted bidder, and most importantly, what is the lowest value per item. It'll let you visually compare. Now, on the right-hand side, you're going to actually get true tabulation, in my opinion. You're going to get the average price for things. You're going to get the lowest, the high, and the spread. If there was multiple bidders, we would see a value in the spread. But this tool is amazing because it actually allows you to compare things a little bit more analytically as opposed to just hard lump sum numbers, okay? Now, if we scroll down, some additional things that happen with the filter that you may notice is the additional information section showed up, which is the famous how long have you been in business? Now, what I want you to envision is that everybody's going to answer this question before they submit their bid. In this case, this business has been in business for 10 years, but if I had multiple bidders, I'd be able to see all of their individual answers tabulated side by side. Now, the other options on the screen are going to be the ability to export this table into Excel. Now, if I export it, it's going to bring up the Excel sheet, and it's basically going to allow me to display the same table in Excel. Now, I want you guys to understand something that you may not see as a regular user, but administratively, the controls that we can set up on this Excel sheet is in the event that you want this locked. In other words, if someone does attempt to export this table for any reason or another, we do have a setting in the system that allows you to lock the cells in the table. So that means if they export it into Excel, they won't be able to adjust the cells in Excel and maybe create like a fake table of some sort. But you do have the setting that will allow you to actually adjust the security of the cells and lock them down. So now, let's hypothetically say Ace Air Incorporated is the ticket. We're going to go that route. We're going to go ahead and award this bidder. Okay, we're kind of fast forwarding into the decision-making process. When you're done analyzing and you've decided that this is going to be the winner, you're going to go right back to your Invited Bidders tab. And this is obviously going to show the only bidder that participated in this entire bid, right? This guy was sure to win. So now what you're going to do is you're going to click a very small icon over here to the right. It's shaped like a wrench. And when you click it, it's going to give you a couple of options. Number one, it'll give you the option of re-inviting this bidder. Let's say there is a change after you've received the bid from this person. Let's say there's an addendum after you've received the bid. Maybe this person turned the bid in early. Maybe there's change that has to be taken into consideration even if they've reached the bid due date. You have the ability to re-invite them so that they can re-engage into the bid and provide you a number based on the change. Next is the ability to revoke. Let's say you're going to revoke the bid altogether, and if you do click this option, it will send a notification to the person that you've revoked the bid. And it will give you an opportunity to explain why. Now, the most important one is awarding. So when we click award, the screen will kind of pop up here, and it will allow us to create a message for the person that we awarded. Now, what I want you guys to look at is these sections right here, the message in this section and the message in this section. So in essence, we have the ability to send this very generic message to the winner, because this is where the winning bidder message goes, and we have a generic message we can send to the people that didn't make it, right? Now, we also have the option of not necessarily sending a message at all. So let's say we only want to send a message to the winner. We can kind of deselect this section here, and all the other bidders will not receive a message. Best practice will tell you, though, that everybody should know where they stand. So if you want to write a message to everyone, this will be the place to do it. And if you want to change what's being said and make it more of a standard message based on your organization, you can edit this and send it whatever way you'd like. Now, this button down here is the one that I can't wait to talk about, because this is actually a fairly new feature in the bidding module that has assisted many people. So in this section, I'm awarding a bidder, but what we want to take into consideration is the bid scope. Let's kind of go back before we actually do this, because I actually want to show you the bid scope before we actually award this bidder. This bid scope tab is one of the things that we did in our earlier video. We created line items of the items that we want someone to work on. Now, the cool part of this is that what you in essence have done is you have prepared preliminarily a contract in the system, a commitment in eBuilder terms. Now, the reason I say that is because if I was writing a contract and I was awarding this specific bidder for these specific items, these would be the schedule of values in my commitment. Now, again, make a note here that the only way this option's going to work that I'm about to show you is if you are using the cost module. If you were using the cost module, you would be able to convert bid scopes directly into commitments or the schedule of values of commitments. And I'm going to show you very quickly how that's done. So if I'm going to go back to the Invited Bidders tab, and I'm going to go ahead and award this bidder by once again clicking the little wrench. I'm going to click Award, and you will see the same screen pop up. I'm going to unclick that. I'm not going to send this to the people that lost. I'm only going to send this generic message to this guy that won, and I'm going to click Send and Create Commitment. When I do that, it will immediately take me into the cost module of eBuilder, which some of you may have seen already since you're probably using cost. But the most important attribute here is if I scroll down, all of the line items that I currently have in my budget and in the bid scope have aligned automatically. And if you'll notice, the amounts that I received the bid for are all listed here automatically. So again, we are eliminating the chance of error when converting something from a bid scope and when we're actually putting the commitment into eBuilder. This is a great tool because this is going to make this process very, very smooth. So that concludes our video today. All we basically did was we opened up a bid, we tabulated it, we analyzed it, we awarded it, and now we converted it into a commitment. There are other videos out there that talk specifically about creating commitments. I have created a couple of other training videos, so I'm not going to get into that right now, but I invite you guys to go there. That way you guys can understand what the next steps are here when actually creating the commitment that has to do with this bid. So with that, I will leave you. Thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned for some more videos, including how to import the bid scope into the bidding module.
If you'd like to learn more about additional training opportunities, please contact your account manager.